November 16, 1974. Arecibo Observatory, Puerto Rico. Humanity sends its first deliberate message to the stars. A simple greeting: who we are, our DNA, our solar system, our location. Transmitted at 1,000 kilowatts toward the globular cluster M13, 25,000 light-years away. We never got a reply. Voyager 1 launches carrying a golden record. Music, greetings in 55 languages, sounds of Earth. 15 billion miles away now, still transmitting, still carrying our message. No response. But we've been broadcasting much longer than that. Since the 1920s, radio waves have been leaking into space. A century of transmissions. TV, radio, radar. A 100-light-year bubble announcing our presence. And what do those broadcasts say about us? World War II, atomic bombs, the Cold War, climate collapse, mass extinctions we're causing. The dark forest hypothesis says civilizations stay quiet because the cosmos is dangerous. Revealing your location is suicide. But what if the truth is darker? What if everyone else is quiet because they're hiding from us? (1920) KDKA in Pittsburgh. First commercial radio broadcast in the United States. Radio waves don't stop at Earth's atmosphere. They keep going, into space, forever. By 2025, we've created a 105 light-year radius bubble of electromagnetic radiation centered on Earth. Every star system within that bubble has potentially received our transmissions. How many stars? Approximately 14,000 stars. How many potentially habitable planets? Conservative estimates, 50 to 100. What reaches them first? 1920s to 1930s. Early radio, faint, requires sensitive receivers to detect. 1940s. World War II broadcasts. Suddenly, Earth gets louder. Propaganda radio, military communications, high-power transmissions. July 16, 1945. Trinity test. First nuclear detonation. Gamma-ray burst. Detectable across interstellar distances for any civilization monitoring Earth. Our calling card to the cosmos. We've mastered nuclear weapons. 1945 to 1996. 2,056 nuclear tests. Atmospheric, underground, underwater. Each one a flash of radiation announcing, "We're dangerous. We're testing weapons of mass destruction." 1950s to present. Television. Stronger signals, more content. And the content? Wars, crime dramas, news coverage of conflicts. Violence as entertainment. 1974. The Arecibo message. The first deliberate interstellar transmission. Raised by Frank Drake and Carl Sagan. 1,679 binary digits. Contents. Numbers 1 to 10. Atomic numbers of key elements: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus. DNA structure. Human figure with population count, 4 billion at the time. Solar system diagram with Earth highlighted. Arecibo telescope diagram. Destination: globular cluster M13, 25,000 light-years away. Reply time: 50,000 years minimum. Physical messages 2. Pioneer plaques. Diagram of humans. Location of Earth relative to pulsars. Launched on Pioneer 10 and 11. Voyager golden records. 115 images. Natural sounds. Music from various cultures. Greetings in 55 languages. Carl Sagan's ambition. Show our best side. Our art. Our diversity. Our beauty. But the messages continue. October 2017. METI International transmits tutorial on math and science to Luyten star, 12 light-years away. 2022 to 2024. Multiple transmissions from various facilities, often without international consultation. Here's the problem. Accidental leakage, weak. Difficult to detect beyond approximately 100 light-years. Intentional messages, powerful. Arecibo operated at 1,000 kilowatts, detectable across thousands of light-years. We're not just leaking anymore. We're shouting. Imagine you're an alien analyst. You've detected radio signals from a star system 50 light-years away. You can't decode the language yet, but you can analyze patterns, content, themes. What would Earth's broadcasts tell you? First, coherent signals, 1940s. High-power military communications, propaganda broadcasts, news of global conflict. Message. This species is engaged in planet-wide warfare. Nuclear weapons, 1945 to 1996. 2056 nuclear detonations. Each leaves distinctive signatures. Gamma-ray bursts, neutron flux, specific isotope ratios, cesium-137, strontium-90. Message. This species has weaponized atomic energy and tests it frequently. Television era, 1950s to present. Entertainment programming leaking into space. Content analysis studies, actual research done. Average American drama, 5 to 7 violent acts per hour. News broadcasts, 40 to 60% conflict crisis coverage. Science fiction often depicts alien contact as hostile. Message. This species is preoccupied with violence and views unknown species as threats. Environmental signals, 1950s to present. CO2 levels rising, detectable in atmospheric spectra. Methane increases, industrial agriculture. Chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, unnatural molecules, only produced industrially. Deforestation, visible in planetary albedo changes. Message. This species is terraforming its own planet, destabilizing its ecosystem, causing what appears to be a mass extinction event. All of this reaches alien observers before any of our nice messages do. Light years are time machines. When aliens receive our signals, they're seeing our past. Let's follow the timeline for a civilization 75 light-years away. 1950 receives our 1875 signals. Faint electromagnetic noise. Industrial revolution. Nothing coherent yet. 1965 receives 1890s. Stronger signals. Telegraph. Early radio experiments. Still faint. 1990 receives 1915. World War I. High-power military communications. First clear sign of global conflict. 2010 receives 1935. Pre-World War II military buildup. Increasing radio power. 2020 receives 1945. Nuclear weapons. Trinity test. Hiroshima. Nagasaki. 2025 receives 1950. Cold War beginning. More nuclear tests. Television showing violence. They're seeing our worst first. Our carefully crafted messages about human achievement, art, and science? Arecibo, 1974. Won't reach M13 until 26,974. And M13 is wrong target anyway. Globular clusters are old, metal poor, unlikely to have habitable planets. Voyager's golden record, carried on a spacecraft moving at 38,000 miles per hour, will take 40,000 years to reach any star. But World War II broadcasts reached nearby systems 80 years ago. Nuclear test signatures 75 years ago. By the time our greetings arrive, they've already seen a century of evidence that we're dangerous. Kardashev scale. Proposed in 1964 by Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev, classifies civilizations by energy usage. Type 1 harnesses all available energy on their planet, approximately 10 to the 16th power watts. Type 2 harnesses energy of entire star, approximately 10 to the 26th watts. Type 3 harnesses energy of entire galaxy, approximately 10 to the 36th watts. Humanity? Type 0.73. Not even type 1 yet. We use about 18 terawatts globally. Type 1 requires 174 petawatts. And most of our energy? Fossil fuels. Unsustainable, destabilizing our climate. From an outside perspective, a pre-Type 1 civilization that has nuclear weapons but can't control its climate, fights internal conflicts despite being one species on one planet, broadcasts its violence widely, shows no signs of unified planetary governance. Risk assessment? High threat, low maturity. Technologically advanced enough to be dangerous, not wise enough to be trusted. This is who we are to the cosmos. (2008) Chinese science fiction author Liu Cixin publishes The Three-Body Problem. In it, he introduces the dark forest hypothesis. The metaphor: the universe is a dark forest. Every civilization is a hunter creeping through the trees. If you reveal your location, other hunters kill you. The logic. Axiom 1. Survival is the primary need of civilization. Axiom 2. Civilizations expand, but total matter/energy in the universe is finite. Conclusion. Competition is inevitable. The chains of suspicion. You can't know if another civilization is hostile. Even if they say they're peaceful, they might be lying. Even if they're peaceful now, they might become hostile later. Even if they won't attack you, they might attack your descendants in 10,000 years. The safest strategy: strike first. Or hide perfectly. Since you can't guarantee you can strike first, they might be more advanced. The only safe option is to remain hidden. This explains the Fermi paradox. Where is everyone? Answer: they're hiding from each other. Netflix adapts The Three-Body Problem, brings Dark Forest to mainstream consciousness. The hypothesis becomes widely known. But there's a darker possibility nobody talks about. What if the dark forest is real, but we're not the prey? What if humanity is the aggressive species everyone else is hiding from? Consider the evidence an alien civilization would observe. Evolutionary history visible in biology. Humans are apex predators. Forward-facing eyes, predator trait. Omnivorous, can eat anything to survive. Highly territorial. Archaeological history visible in isotopes. Bronze Age, metalworking for weapons. Iron Age, better weapons. Industrial Age, mechanized warfare. Atomic Age, weapons of mass destruction. Historical record in broadcasts. Constant warfare throughout recorded history. No period of global peace lasting more than decades. Economic systems based on competition and exploitation. Current state, 2025. Multiple ongoing wars, Ukraine, Gaza, Yemen, Sudan, and others. Nuclear arsenals. Approximately 12,500 warheads globally, enough to destroy civilization multiple times. Climate crisis ignored despite scientific consensus. Biodiversity crisis, causing sixth mass extinction. Rising nationalism, decreasing international cooperation. From a game theory perspective, a rational alien civilization detecting Earth would ask, if we respond, what's the risk they develop interstellar travel and bring their aggression here? Even if current humans are curious and peaceful, what about their descendants in 1,000 years? Is the potential benefit of contact worth the existential risk? The answer might be no. Stay silent. Let them think they're alone. Let's imagine two civilizations. Civilization A, unified planetary governance, solved coordination problems. Sustainable energy, type 1 or higher on Kardashev scale. No internal conflict, resources distributed equitably. Broadcasts, science, art, music, philosophy. What they'd announce: we're here, we're stable, we're wise. Civilization B, us. 195 separate nations, uncoordinated, competitive. Fossil fuel dependent, actively destabilizing our planet. Constant internal conflict, wars, terrorism, inequality. Broadcasts, violence, weapons tests, environmental collapse. What we announce: we're here, we're aggressive, we're unstable. If you're an alien civilization with limited resources for contact, which do you approach? You approach Civilization A. You ignore Civilization B until they mature. Or worse, you designate Civilization B's star system as a do not contact zone, a cosmic quarantine. Not because you're hostile, because they are, and we'd never know. METI, Messaging to Extraterrestrial Intelligence. The practice of sending powerful, intentional messages to nearby star systems. METI International, founded by Douglas Voyager. Mission: actively transmit messages to stars rather than just listening. October 2017. METI transmits message to Luyten star, 12 light-years away. October 2025. International Academy of Astronautics updates SETI protocols at Sydney Conference. Clarifies procedures for if we detect a signal. But still no binding protocol for METI. Only position papers and best practices. The scientific community is split. Pro-METI side, Douglas Voyager. If we detect a signal through SETI, there's no way to prevent a cacophony of responses anyway. Seth Shostak, SETI Institute. Any danger is hypothetical. We'd be better off risking contact than endlessly trembling at the stars. Jill Tarter, Advanced civilizations capable of interstellar travel would have evolved cooperative intelligence, not violence. Anti-METI side, Stephen Hawking, before his 2018 death. If aliens visit us, the outcome would be like when Columbus landed in America. Not good for the Native Americans. David Brin, METI is unwise, unscientific, potentially catastrophic, and unethical without global consent. 2016, open letter. Scientists and technologists urged worldwide debate before any powerful directed transmissions proceed. Common METI argument. The barn door is already open. We've been leaking signals for 100 years. Counter. Accidental leakage is millions of times weaker than intentional METI. Arecibo at 1,000 kilowatts is detectable across thousands of light years. TV signals? Barely detectable beyond 100 light years with current technology. It's the difference between a flashlight in a dark forest and a searchlight. Here's the ethical problem. METI is an experiment involving the entire human species, and potentially every future generation. In scientific research, experiments on human subjects require informed consent. Who consented to METI? The 2017 message to Leuten Star? Sent by METI International, a private organization. No international treaty. No UN resolution. No referendum. The San Marino scale exists, a tool to assess the potential impact of transmissions, like the Richter scale for METI risk. But it's voluntary. No enforcement mechanism. 2019 to 2020 surveys in the UK by researchers studying METI governance. 43% said scientists should decide. 31% said elected officials should decide. 18% said referendum. 8% said no one should send messages without global consensus. And here's the problem with democratic processes. Any powerful nation or private organization with access to a radio telescope can send a METI message tomorrow. Response time? Potentially thousands of years. But once sent, it's irreversible. If METI attracts hostile attention, our response won't matter. By the time a civilization 500 light years away receives our message, decides to respond with a relativistic weapon, and that weapon reaches us, 1,000+ years will have passed. We won't be around to defend ourselves, but our descendants will pay the price. We're potentially writing a check our great-great-great-grandchildren will have to cash. Let's run the analysis from the other side. You're an advanced civilization. You've detected signals from Earth. What do you know about humanity? Technological capability, nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, biological weapons, orbital capabilities. Maturity level, still burning fossil fuels, can't control climate. Multiple wars simultaneously, no unified governance. Expansion potential, already discussing Mars colonization, if they develop interstellar travel in 500 years. Historical pattern, every technological advancement used for warfare first. Gunpowder, aviation, nuclear fission, AI. Decision tree. Option 1, respond. Best case, they're friendly, mutually beneficial exchange. Worst case, you've revealed your location to an aggressive species that will eventually develop interstellar travel and attack. Option 2, stay silent. Best case, they mature on their own. Contact possible later. Worst case, you miss out on contact with a friendly species. Risk-benefit analysis. Responding has potentially infinite downside, existential threat. Staying silent has limited downside, missed opportunity. From a survival standpoint, the rational choice is obvious: stay silent. And if multiple civilizations make this same calculation, Sol system becomes a quarantine zone. Not because we're special, because we're dangerous. The Great Silence isn't a mystery, it's a decision. So what do we do with this? If we're the dangerous species, can we change? The optimistic case. Things that have improved. Global poverty declining. Extreme poverty, 36% in 1990, 9% in 2024. Life expectancy rising, 46 years in 1950 to 73 years in 2024. Child mortality declining, 18% in 1960 to 3.7% in 2024. More democracies, 57 in 1989, 87 in 1991, 2024. International cooperation on some issues. Ozone layer recovery, smallpox eradication. The pessimistic case. Things that have worsened. Nuclear weapons spread. 5 nations in 1970, 9 in 2024. Climate crisis accelerating. CO2, 325 parts per million in 1970, 425 parts per million in 2024. Biodiversity loss. Wildlife populations down 69% since 1970. Rising nationalism and authoritarianism, 2010s to 2020s trend. Weapons development continuing, hypersonics, autonomous, weapons, cyber warfare. The question: is humanity maturing fast enough? The Type 0 to Type 1 transition is the most dangerous period for any civilization. You have weapons powerful enough to destroy yourself, but not wisdom to guarantee you won't use them. This might be the great filter, the reason we don't see advanced civilizations. Not because space travel is impossible, because most species destroy themselves before achieving it. And maybe the ones who survive stay silent for a reason. If humanity is the dark forest predator, what does that mean for SETI? Current SETI projects. Breakthrough Listen, $100 million, 10-year program. Allen Telescope Array, scanning millions of star systems. Multiple radio and optical SETI programs worldwide. Results after 60+ years of SETI, nothing conclusive. The traditional interpretation: we're alone, or they're too far away. But maybe the silence is the signal. Maybe advanced civilizations have a rule: don't respond to anyone who's still broadcasting evidence of violence. The maturity test hypothesis. Step 1. Develop radio technology. Step 2. Broadcast into space. Inevitable. Civilizations don't know to be quiet yet. Step 3. Mature to the point where you stop broadcasting your conflicts and achieve sustainability. Step 4. Only then do older civilizations respond. By this standard, we're still at Step 2. Maybe early Step 3. We're still broadcasting our wars, still testing weapons, still destabilizing our climate. What would signal maturity to watchful aliens? Decades without nuclear weapons use or testing. Unified response to climate crisis. Achieving net zero emissions. End to large-scale wars. Transition to sustainable energy, achieving Type 1 status. Broadcasts showing cooperation instead of conflict. Maybe the silence is a test, and we're still failing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If the universe is watching us and judging us by our broadcasts, they're right to be cautious. We are an aggressive species. That's not moral judgment, it's empirical observation. But we're also capable of remarkable cooperation. International Space Station, 5 space agencies, 15 countries, 20+ years of continuous operation. CERN, 23 member states collaborating on fundamental physics. Paris Agreement, 196 parties committing to climate action, even if implementation is insufficient. We're at a crossroads. Path 1, continue as we are. Keep broadcasting violence. Keep testing weapons. Keep destabilizing our planet. Remain in cosmic quarantine forever. Path 2, conscious change. Acknowledge how we appear to outside observers. Actively work toward planetary maturity. Change what we broadcast. More science, cooperation, sustainability. Less conflict. Eventually earn response from the galaxy's mature civilizations, and the METI question takes on new meaning. Should we keep shouting into space before we've demonstrated we're trustworthy? Or should we focus on becoming the kind of civilization that deserves a response? Maybe the dark forest isn't about predators and prey. Maybe it's about adults and children. And right now, we're the loud, dangerous child, playing with matches, shouting in the dark, while the adults watch quietly, waiting to see if we grow up, or if we burn ourselves down first. (1974, 1977). We sent our greetings. No reply. But for 100 years before that, and every day since, we've been broadcasting who we really are. Not the carefully curated messages, the truth. Somewhere out there, maybe someone received both. The golden record with Beethoven and Bach and greetings of peace. And the background noise. The wars. The weapons. The warnings. Which message do you think they believed? The dark forest hypothesis asks, why is everyone hiding? Maybe they're not hiding from unknown predators. Maybe they're hiding from us. Every day we continue broadcasting. We can't stop now even if we wanted to. Our signals are already decades into space. But we can change what we broadcast going forward. We can change who we are. Maybe first contact isn't about technology. It's about trust. And maybe the test isn't, can you build a radio? Maybe the test is, can you stop killing each other long enough to deserve a response? We're alone in the dark forest. Not because no one's there, but because we haven't proven we're safe to approach. The universe is listening. The question is, what are we telling them? This is Cosmic Canvas, where we confront uncomfortable truths about our place in the cosmos. Until next time, maybe it's time to listen more and broadcast less.